This is part 2 to 12 qualities that every beginner homesteader should have. And I'm saying this as a beginner homesteader myself to be able to be successful in this kind of lifestyle. Hi, I'm Katie, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. I cover what it's like to buy a plot of land, build a home, and turn it into a homestead. So if that sounds interesting to you, again, please hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's jump in. Because this is part 2, I'm going to start from the 7th quality and go all the way to the 12th. So the 7th quality that I want to talk about today is being easily inspired. Why is this important? Well, I mean, if you're not inspired, why would you even want to start a homestead? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of sweat equity. I don't want to say there's a little reward at the beginning, but when you're just starting out, there can be a lot of frustrating moments because your plant died from squash bugs or some other reason you can't get the plant to produce any fruit or vegetables. So you need to be inspired. I think the inspiration is huge just with anything in life. And social media is actually a really good tool for this. I personally love social media for that reason. I see a bunch of things on Instagram where it just inspires me like, oh yeah, like I'm going to grow that this year in my garden, or that's a really good idea for a layout, or so on and so forth. But with that inspiration, there is a catch, and that's my point in the 8th quality. And the 8th quality is the ability to discern. For me, at least, it's easy to kind of get wrapped up in the inspiration part of it. You see different things on social media and you're like, oh, that just looks so it's romanticized. That's what it is. And while that inspiration is so greatly needed, it can also set you up for an unrealistic expectation as to the amount of work that goes into achieving that. So being able to discern if it is actually a direction that you want to go into, so that way you are not working and starting a project and not finishing it just simply because you didn't realize, you didn't discern the amount of work that went into it, or that it wasn't really something that you are interested in anymore. It just seemed like a good idea at the time. Regardless, whatever your reason is, being able to discern will help you greatly on your homestead. Okay, so the 9th quality that every beginner homesteader needs to have is to be able to set realistic goals in the allotted time that you have. This is such a big one, and I know I fall victim to this one. Out of all of them, this one's probably the hardest for me because I am such a planner. For those that are new to this channel, I'm currently in the process of building my home with my husband. And it's so exciting, and I can visualize where all the gardens are going to go. And I talk a lot more about that in this video here, where I discuss the layout of the land and the importance of it. But essentially, it's so hard for me not to do that. And it results in me just getting stressed because I feel like I have to do it all right away, which is definitely not the case. So make sure that you set realistic goals for the time that you have. And that could even be something as simple as the different produce that you pick to grow that year. So many years it's like, oh, I'm going to grow this, I'm going to grow this, I'm going to grow this. And it just takes your or my attention away from the priority ones. And it's just extra, and it meant nothing at the end of the harvest. So definitely be realistic with your goals. So the 10th quality is being self-motivated. I remember back when I was in college, there was this question that was something like, what motivates you? And one of the girls in my class answered deadlines. And at the time I thought it was funny, but I honestly did not understand why that motivated her, because I was not motivated in that way. I was motivated more by I want to get this job done to the best of my ability, regardless or not of the deadline. But it was because I was self-motivated by my own goals. Now, if you're the type of person that is motivated by conditions or goals that other people put in place of you, then homesteading might actually be a little bit harder because you don't have that. You need to be self-motivated. You need to set your own goals and then just go for them and achieve them to the best of your ability. The 11th quality is being content with going without. Now, this one's pretty similar to the first quality that I talked about in the first part of this video. I will put a link here. But essentially, you need to be okay with going without. You need to be okay with maybe not going out to eat all the time because it boils down to money. You need to be okay with not having those extra streaming platforms or not getting your nails done all the time. Just things that require money. Even like fear of missing out. That sort of stuff requires money. And you need to be okay with not going to those vacations and doing those things that so many other people enjoy spending their time doing. That requires money. And of course, if you're loaded for some reason, way, shape, or form, maybe your husband has a good job or whatever your reason may be, then just ignore this quality. But for the rest of us, definitely having the ability to be content with where you are and saying no to the things that a lot of other people in society do that requires that extra couple bucks is going to be a necessity. And the 12th quality is being fearless. You cannot be afraid to get your hands dirty. You cannot be afraid to learn how to pressure a can, even though if you don't seal it right, it could possibly lead to some kind of explosion. I've never seen it, but I'm sure it happens. Just being fearless, not worrying about or fearing the idea that when you could, and I know I'm going to say it wrong, give botulism. I think I said it wrong, but regardless, you get the point. In the food and that you're prepping and canning, you cannot be afraid of that kind of stuff. And I feel like society kind of teaches us to be afraid. That's why we've drifted away from the homesteading lifestyle. It's a mixture of fear and convenience, which convenience is a whole other animal. But you can't be afraid. You have to just face it head on, do your research, obviously, and know what you are and aren't comfortable with and go for it. But that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.